Welcome, folks. I'm Jabby Kaway, joined by Achara Kirk.
What's up?
The Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation trial continues, and we've got several clips in front of us. Some I've seen, but Achara hasn't. I've told her about them, but she hasn't seen it, and so I thought, and then we have new stuff. The first one is Woodworker attorney debunks Amber Heard's broken bed testimony from Law and Lumber.
Wow.
And then we have Camille Vasquez catches Amber Heard using edited photo. A lawyer explains from Runkle of the Bailey. Then we've got a new one. Kate Moss clarifies Johnny Depp didn't push her down the stairs. And then I have created and covered bruises with makeup, Amber Heard makeup artist says.
I'm very interested in that.
We have Jason Momoa and Amber Heard did not have chemistry in Aquaman. Executive producer testifies. And then Johnny Depp trial shocker. Former TMZ producer implies Amber Heard leaked Depp video. Because several of these clips are quite long, you'll see a significantly cut down version of these clips. Just the parts that matter most is what I'm going to include in this edit. Before we jump into all of these reactions, I want to say one thing. After the previous video, I looked at the comments and a lot of people seemed to believe that I was this ardent Amber Heard supporter, which was kind of baffling to me because 2 weeks prior to putting out that video, it seemed like Twitter was trying to take me down for being this misogynistic Johnny Depp supporter. So the reason why I'm getting hit with both of these is because I seem to be standing very, very neutral, which is not quite what I'm doing. I am favoring Johnny Depp, but I just really, really, really enjoy examining all sides, examining all maybes. That's something that I've always found gratifying. Ever since I was a little kid, like when religion told me, God made the world, God made the universe, I immediately asked my dad, well, who made God? And my dad was like, well, don't ask that. You're just gonna break your head. And so for years, up until I was like 12, I didn't ever ask that question again for fear of causing myself self-induced harm. Eventually, I started asking questions again, and then here we are now. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is to tell me to stop being objective, to tell me to stop being a skeptic and asking, as many questions as I can and examining every angle that I can. That's like asking me to stop being me. That's just who I am. I'm a weird, persnickety dude.
Yes.
So let's jump into this. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to Law and Lumber. My name is Rob Morton. I'm an attorney in Northern Virginia, practicing in the areas of domestic relations litigation and consumer bankruptcy matters. I also have a secondary passion in woodworking and custom furniture building, as you can probably tell from the shop where I'm coming at you from. Today, I want to talk about one specific claim that Amber's made in connection with the incident that she alleges occurred at Johnny Depp's Los Angeles penthouse condo on December 15th of 2015. She then alleges that Depp pushed her onto the bed in the second bedroom, pushed her face down onto the mattress, and that he put his knee on her back and other foot onto the bed frame while punching her in the back of the head repeatedly.
Whoa.
She alleges that the foot on the bed frame, caused the bed frame to splinter or break, words that she used interchangeably in the UK and the US litigation. She then states that she can't remember what happened next, only that she remembers some time passing and her friend Rocky Pennington coming into the room to find her on the floor.
One of the things that Behavioral Arts, the YouTuber, pointed out was how she constantly remembers like all of these details, like super, super specific details. And then all of a sudden she just has these blank spots. In a situation like this, it's understandable, generally speaking, but she has such a vast recollection of information all the time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, conveniently, there are like things missing from her testimony or from her memory in her testimony.
Yeah, I don't know an awful lot about PTSD, but I imagine that there is some sort of level of maybe not remembering traumatic events.
It's a plausible thing, but then she remembers like the carpet and like how it's stained and stuff like that. I'm like, well,
maybe she's kind of using that as like an excuse for,
filling in the holes.
The trauma was so bad that I couldn't remember.
Here's the issue I noticed when listening to Heard's testimony on this specific incident. The bed, quite simply, could not have broken in the manner that Amber describes. Let's listen to Amber describe the scene, or at least identify the photos so we get some context for what we're about to see.
That's a hefty bed. I'm sorry, that bed frame.
Please tell the jury what this is.
That's like
That's
a tree.
the bed that Johnny broke while on top of me.
So now we have the photo that identifies the bed itself. Now this photo tells us a bunch of information about the bed itself. One, we know that this is the foot of the bed. This bed is constructed via essentially timbers. This appears to be a platform bed using rustic timbers to give a chunkier feel to it.
Yeah.
We also know this because Amber describes it as being very, very heavy, which you'll hear a little bit later. This photo was taken on December 16th of 2015. Amber described the events as taking place December 15th in the evening. This photo was not taken until the very next day. This photo was taken from the virtual tour that was provided when Johnny was selling that condo. From this photo, you can actually get a really good idea of the size of the bed and where we're talking about. You can actually see here the chunk is still existing. Odd though, this chunk in this photo appears to extend all the way to the edge, whereas the last photo, the chunk looked like it was limited to this area. I'm not sure that's relevant, but it's something worth noting. One of the questions that I had when I first saw this photo is whether this timber itself was a faux or a fake timber.
Right.
Whether someone had basically created the look of a live edge by creating something that looked like this and then wrapping it to bring it down to the bottom. Upon further inspection of the photo itself, you kind of learn that there's no way that's actually possible. Let's get into the specifics of Amber's allegations. Now, this is the statement that she made in the UK trial. She is alleging Johnny had pushed her onto the bed and got on top of her. What you can see is that she is saying that his whole weight was on me, and he put his knee on my back and his other foot on the bed frame. This is the part I want you to focus on. Knee on the back, other foot on the bed frame. The bed frame splintered, and that's all I remember. So that's Amber's statement in the UK trial. This is what the UK court basically found her claim to be. This was taken from one of Johnny's responses to either discovery responses or to the UK court's recitation of Amber's allegations. The bed frame splintered under the weight of the pressure of the claimant's boot. The bed frame splintered under the weight of the pressure of the claimant's boot. So the UK court is basically saying, per Amber, that the reason why the bed splintered was because Johnny's boot had exerted so much pressure that it caused the timber to actually splinter. So that's the UK court's recitation of Amber's claim. Now, curiously, Whitney, Amber's sister, also gave a statement. She noticed it had a very heavy wood frame, which also supports our understanding that this was a solid timber framed bed, and noticed that it had splintered and there was a chip in the wood. I like this word. We're going to focus on that in a minute here. It's going to make a lot of sense soon. There was blonde hair and blood stuck in the splinter on the bed frame. Now that we know what the allegations are, let's hear Amber say them in her own words.
I was sitting on the edge of the bed, on the carpet of the floor against the frame of the bed, and there was a low-lying bed with a really thick wooden frame. It was broken from his boot trying to get a purchase on it. I could feel that. I could feel him trying to get balance. I could feel him slipping. I could hear it.
The most interesting part of that testimony is her testimony saying that she could feel it, that she knew and that she was there. The reason why that's interesting to me is because, one, her face was down per her own testimony. Her testimony was that Johnny was pushing her head so far into the covers that she was muffled. She felt like she couldn't breathe, and his whole weight was on her body. Remember the statement earlier, knee on the back and foot on the bed. Yet she testifies that she can feel him squirming around, or at least trying to gain purchase on the bed.
Yeah.
Now, this is important because it also gives you an understanding of where Johnny's boots are, and how Amber reaches this conclusion that the boots somehow caused the break in the bed.
I apologize for any noise you guys hear. The dumpster truck just shows up, right? It's like every time I'm shooting videos, that's when the garbage truck shows up.
We are going to actually do a little baby mock-up of this bed, and I'm going to explain to you why, given the bed's construction and the description that Johnny's boots actually caused that break, that this testimony is, for lack of a better term, complete BS and not possible. As you can see here, we have a little mock-up of Johnny's bed. This is done with 4x4 pine, which is a little bit smaller, but still the same material that was Johnny's bed. What you're going to see is that in order to get the timber, they generally have to cut almost a full tree. So we have our two lengthwise posts, and then the footboard of the bed. Per Amber's testimony, if this is the mattress where my hand is right here, then Johnny's feet are here on the footboard trying to, in her words, gain purchase. Now, the interesting thing about the gaining purchase is it kind of illustrates the problem here. These are very tight concentric tight cellular structures. Imagine if they were, let's say, call them straws. If everything here was a straw running in this direction, and let's say that you wanted to divide those straws, you would actually have to put something in between those straws and wiggle and pry your way in. Now, the reason why that's important here is because with this type of wood, and actually with all woods, you need something sharp to get in between those grains. If you put a blunt object up against here, it's just not going to do anything. For anyone who's ever hammered pine, you know that you're going to dent the pine before you ever break it off because you're hitting it with a blunt object. Let's illustrate what Amber was describing as Johnny doing. What we're looking at is mattress over here, Johnny allegedly over here. I don't have any fancy boots. I do have work boots. So we're going to try and illustrate what it is that Amber's saying with a Timberland Pro. You can see as the work boot goes in, there's no way, given the size of that work boot, that you're going to get anywhere enough pull, period. Just slides right off. there's nothing it's ever going to catch.
I know that what he's saying makes a lot of sense, but I'm looking at this and I'm going, this is a cool experiment and all, but like it's his hand. It's not the same as the force or the weight of a foot.
Even so, what he's saying is that if you were to hit it with a lot more weight and pressure, it might dent it, but it's not going to splinter it.
It's a strong piece of wood.
Now, we're dealing with a much smaller piece of wood. I don't know if it's exactly 1-to-1. I think he's well aware of the fact that this is a mock-up and it's not designed to be 1-to-1. I don't know how wood would react in a larger space, a larger area, because he's dealing with a much smaller thing. Sometimes it's harder to break down something that's smaller versus something that's
like
bigger.
Tighter,
It's because the tip of the work boot, no matter how sharp it is not sharp enough to cut into that grain structure. It doesn't matter if it's a leather-soled, skinny shoe, unless it's one of those super spy boots that has a kick-out blade, it ain't going to get in between that grain. Let me show you the only way that you can get into that grain. If I wiggle a knife in here, you can see that I can wiggle back and forth, and I have what Amber was describing, purchase. There is no grip that I can get, either with my hand or a boot, that does anything to dig into that grain that would cause that type of fracture. The only fathomable way that I can see that particular break happening, as described by Amber Heard, is something like this.
Yeah. It does look like that.
The sharp knife is the only thing that can penetrate the grain in order to cause that split. Sharp knife and leverage is the only thing that can make that pop. You see this? That type of break is caused by this. Sharp knife, leverage. This is why Amber Heard's testimony bothered me that day. Because what I saw was this type of damage, which is what's reflected on that particular bed.
Yeah.
That damage is caused by a knife. Now, I'm not saying what this is.
What?
I'll leave that for the judge, the jury, and the trial attorneys to decide if they want to argue that point. But to me, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, see, I saw that video.
Oh my God.
I saw that video and I was like, yo, it looks like evidence is being fabricated here. I saw this like a week or two back and I was like, this is pretty jaw-dropping information. He made a very, very good case here for why this looks like fabricated evidence.
Yeah.
And it's frightening. It's frightening to think about.
It's chilling.
Yeah.
It's chilling to think about someone who, I don't know, maybe there really was a fight,
Yeah.
you know, but who afterwards was like, you know what? Yeah. I'm going to make it look really bad.
Yeah. The reason why I still ask all the maybes and examine all the things, you know, more closely when we're going through these clips and whatnot, and it makes it sound like I'm defending Amber Heard, is because I am just making sure that we are not assigning value to something that doesn't deserve it. That's all. Like, oh, look at how she breathed here. Oh, she's sniffing cocaine and whatever. It's like, how does that help? You know, like, cause sometimes I think we're projecting onto her reasons that don't actually deserve it. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And if you're coming at it, if you're entering into it with bias,
yes,
then obviously, you know, there's always confirmation bias. You're
Exactly.
going to be like, oh, yeah, see, that proved
Right.
it.
This one is Camille Vasquez catches Amber Heard using edited photo.
Hello and welcome to Runkle of the Bailey. My name is Ian Runkle. I'm a Canadian criminal defense and firearms lawyer. I've been really doing a lot of sort of deep dives into the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. This trial is really great for providing us with a lot of opportunities for larger learning. And what I mean by that is that it's raising a lot of legal concepts that we can sort of examine and learn from. One of those is the issue of faked or manipulated evidence. And there's a moment when this comes up in this trial. So let's have a look. I'm going to play a clip here from the trial, and then I'm going to discuss sort of what's going on here. So let's roll the clip.
You testified yesterday. This is another photograph of you on the night of May 21.
That's correct.
And keeping this exhibit up, can we please do a split screen and also pull up defendant 713, which has already been admitted? Ms. Heard, you testified yesterday. This is also a photograph of you from the same night, correct?
That is correct.
You testified yesterday that the only difference between these two photographs is that the light was turned on.
That's what it appears to be, yes.
The light is on both of these pictures,
I was
though.
gonna say.
Isn't that right?
It looks to me like the one on the left has the vanity light, the makeup lights, you know, the more yellow-hued ones that go around the mirror on, and then the one on the right looks like it doesn't have those.
Isn't it true you just edited these photographs?
No, I've never edited a photograph.
Didn't you just enhance the saturation for one of these photos to make your face look more red?
No, that's incorrect. I didn't touch it.
The photos look like pretty much identical.
Right.
So this is the first image, and this is at 0% opacity for that second layer. So what that means is that you can't see that second layer at all. All you're seeing here is just the one picture. Now let's look at 100% opacity in the same place. And you can tell me if you think that, you see that they're the same thing, if that's what that looks like to you. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an image that's at the 50% opacity. So you're actually seeing both images kind of overlaid on top of each other.
The exact same photo.
What?
Yeah, those look like the same image to me.
So what he's trying to say is that it's the exact same photo.
Oh, that's a good way to, I guess, prove it,
Yeah.
right?
You
Because
just
I
layer
can't
on
see
top.
the difference. The only thing I can see is the difference on the bottom right with the numbers on the bottom there. But that's crazy. I mean,
Right.
it looked the same. It's so hard to get like the exact same position.
Yeah. Then he dives into talking about his hair and like how a little movement, your hair
Yeah.
completely changes.
Yeah.
And the hair is exactly the same in each of these photos. Like even the slightest of movement, your hair would change dramatically.
Yeah.
So that you would notice that immediately.
Yeah, it's the same picture.
Yeah.
The other thing is she says that it's different lighting, but when you look at these two photos, the shadows are there in the same places in both scenarios. Whereas if you had actually turned on a different light, you'd get different shadows.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I think that these are the same image. And quite frankly, I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to say that Amber Heard thinks that these are the same images. And I'm going to point to a couple of moments in her answer here. So when she's asked, are these the same photo? Look at what she says about the lighting.
You testified yesterday that the only difference between these two photographs is that the light was turned on.
That's what it appears to be, yes.
That's what it appears to
Yes.
be. That's weasel wording. There's another thing she says when she's confronted with the
She does that a
possibility that
lot.
she might have edited the photos. And let's have a look at her response there.
Isn't it true you just edited these photographs?
No, I've never edited a photograph.
You notice she says, I never edited the photos. Well, she's not saying that the photos weren't edited. She's saying she didn't do it. It's pretty clear that these are, that these images are edited. Now, in terms of what this means, well, if her testimony is shown to be false and shown to be false to a degree that is sufficient to convince a prosecutor that it's worth laying charges, there could be the basis of a perjury charge or some other, obstruction of justice. I don't know Virginia's statutes in terms of what the sort of angles are here. But here in Canada, presenting false evidence like that to a court would be a really, really big deal.
Well, yeah, like I wonder what's going to happen with that. Like we're seeing a lot of information, a lot of people talking about many reasons why, points in her testimony might be false. And we all know about perjury.
It seems to be perjury.
Right.
I mean, this looks like perjury to me.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like fabricated evidence twice. We have a clip here from Law and Crime Network. It's Kate Moss clarifies Johnny Depp didn't push her down the stairs.
I was wondering if she was going to make an appearance as soon as Amber Heard mentioned her name. I know that she still has a lot of positive feelings for Johnny Depp even after they broke up.
How do you know Mr. Depp?
I had a relationship with him.
Did there come a time when you and Mr. Depp had a romantic relationship?
Yes.
For how long, Ms. Moss, were you and Mr. Depp a romantic couple?
I'm projecting right now, and I can't help it. I'm looking at Amber Heard's face, and I'm projecting like attitude in her eyes on the other ex. Like, I'm better than you, bitch. I don't think that's what she's actually thinking, but it's like I can't help but put that narrative in my brain. You know what I mean?
I'm just looking at Kate Moss. I hadn't even really noticed, but in this freeze frame, she does look very haughty. Like,
yeah, I don't think she's actually thinking anything that I'm thinking, but I'm just, it was just kind of this funny narrative that popped up in my head.
Ms. Moss, did there come a time when you, while you and Mr. Depp were a couple, that the two of you took a vacation together to the Golden Eye Resort in Jamaica?
Yes.
What, if anything, happened when you were in Jamaica with Mr. Depp?
We were leaving the room, and Johnny left the room before I did, and there had been a rainstorm, and as I left the room, I slid down the stairs, and I hurt my back.
How did you...
And
I apologize, Ms. Moss. Please continue.
and I screamed because I was because I didn't know what had happened to me and I was in pain, and he came running back to help me and carried me to my room and got me medical attention.
Did Mr. Depp push you in any way down the stairs?
No.
During the course of your relationship, did he ever push you down any stairs?
No.
I'm sorry for laughing. It's just because the whole thing is like this particular event, right?
Yeah.
So he goes, did Johnny Depp push you down the stairs? When you went down those stairs, and she goes, no, and he goes, did he push you down any stairs ever?
Ever.
Does Johnny Depp ever use stairs?
Does Johnny Depp push women downstairs?
Yeah.
Just wanna, clarify.
Have you ever seen Johnny Depp actually using the stairs? Yeah. Like, it's like you just take it as, my brain just went to that place. I'm sorry. That's why I laughed. It's like, I'm not laughing at violence. I'm laughing just like the question.
Absurdity.
The absurdity. Yeah.
That you even have to ask the question of like, has he ever pushed you downstairs?
Yeah.
Maybe this wasn't the incident.
Yeah.
Maybe there was another incident on another holiday when he pushed you down the stairs.
To be fair, it is a good question to ask.
Sure,
so.
yeah.
No, he never pushed me, kicked me, or threw me down any stairs.
Why did you decide to testify today?
Objection, Your Honor.
All right.
That's beyond the scope of what we just talked about.
All right. I'll sustain the objection.
Thank you, Ms. Moss. We have nothing further at this time. We greatly appreciate your taking the time to testify.
All right. Any cross-examination?
No, Your Honor.
All right. You're free to go. Thank you, Ms. Moss.
Wow, that was quick. That was quick.
Wow.
She just came in. She was like, "Nope, that's false. Didn't throw me down the stairs. I slipped and I fell down the stairs and it hurt like hell. But no, Johnny didn't do it." And then no cross-examination because, like, what are her lawyers gonna say? Did you forget?
God damn. Like, yeah, I know. They didn't even cross-examine her. Like, they didn't even take the opportunity to cross-examine this witness.
What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? Like, are you sure? Are you sure he didn't push you?
I am not a lawyer. I'm certainly not on the jury. I haven't been following everything 100%, obviously. But what it indicates is that Amber Heard does have her memory now becomes questionable, and it does appear that she is hyperbolic in nature. Like, she exaggerates in an effort to sell what behavioral arts was talking about, which is she wants to
appear like the victim.
She wants to appear like the victim and have people feel bad for her, feel sorry for her. That's something he, like, to ad nauseum, he really, really dove into that and explained it thoroughly. So
on a separate note, though, I did really want to hear her answer to Ben Chu's last question of like,
well, you know why?
Well, yeah.
Everyone knows he knew that other team wasn't going to allow it. He had to try. Full well knowing he wasn't going to be able to get the question in. The reason why he did that anyway is because it allows him to say something that the jury will now think about.
Exactly, just like we're thinking about
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's that smart thing that behavioral arts was saying.
That Camille Vasquez does.
To like lead us to the answer.
On her own.
And then it's like stuck in your head.
Yeah.
Genius.
I don't know how often she's lied or how many times she, like, out of 1,000 statements, maybe she lied 10 times, but those 10 times are the ones that matter most.
Sure.
So I have no idea if she's perpetually lying or just a few in instances where you really shouldn't have lied there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Law and Crime Network, same channel. Jason Momoa and Amber Heard did not have chemistry in Aquaman. Executive producer testifies. Again, this is a longer clip, and I'm going to cut down to the most important parts that I feel are relevant for this reaction video.
Mr. Hamada, was Ms. Heard ever released by Warner Brothers from the Aquaman 2 contract, or what you call the option agreement?
No.
Was she released from her Aquaman 2 contract on or about February 22, 2021?
No.
Was Ms. Heard ever rehired for Aquaman 2 by Warner Brothers?
No.
Did Ms. Heard receive a pay increase for Aquaman 2?
No.
Why not?
As a rule, as a company, we go through a lot of trouble when we make our deals with our actors. We get options on them for subsequent movies. And I think traditionally, prior to me joining the company, every option was renegotiated. And one of the things that we were trying to put a rein in on was not renegotiating every deal, with the understanding that people come in and make these deals and they have an understanding that there will be options and that there is a deal in place. And it was a big part of our philosophy that we were going to hold people to their options moving forward.
But did Warner Brothers at any point in time reduce Ms. Heard's role in Aquaman 2?
The role in the film the size of the role in the film that she has was determined in the early development of the script, which would have happened in 2018, I would say.
Oh.
So and from there, beyond normal development, the role sort of, the character's involvement in the story was sort of what it was from the beginning.
That's important.
Yeah, because she's arguing that because of this, they've cut her out.
Yeah, or they reduced the amount that she appears in the movie.
Right, but he's saying that was already established in 2018.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
From the development stage.
Was her role ever reduced for any reason?
No, I mean, again, from the early stages of the development of the script, the movie was built around the character of Arthur and the character of Orm, Arthur being Jason Momoa and Orm being Patrick Wilson. So they were always the two co-leads of the movie.
Was Miss Heard paid for her services in Aquaman 2?
Yes.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected in any way by anything said by Johnny Depp?
No.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected by anything said by Adam Waldman?
No.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected by anything said by anybody representing Johnny Depp?
No.
That's big.
Yeah.
Was there any delay in Warner Brothers exercising the option to cast Miss Heard in Aquaman 2?
Yes, there was.
What was the cause of the delay?
There were conversations about potentially recasting.
Oh, so, okay, that's real.
What, if any, creative concerns did Warner Brothers have about casting Amber Heard as Mira in Aquaman 2?
It was the concerns that were brought up at the wrap of the first movie, production of the first movie, which is the issue of chemistry. Did the two have chemistry? I think editorially they were able to make that relationship work in the first movie, but there was a concern that it took a lot of effort to get there. And would we be better off recasting, finding someone who had better, more natural chemistry with Jason Momoa and move forward that way?
Did Warner Brothers
I should have just done that.
take any steps affirmatively to audition other actresses for the role of Mira in Aquaman 2?
No, we did not.
This brings up two things, right? Number one, Amber Heard was lying about her role being reduced, about the thing with Johnny Depp having any impact whatsoever, according to this witness, having any impact whatsoever on her position in Aquaman 2 and her position going forward in the Aquaman series, right?
Well, it could have been that she believed that was the case, and he's just clarifying.
She's on the she's testifying. That's important. She's testifying, like, this happened because of, right? Mm-hmm. As far as I recall. But the other thing is, that's frustrating. And I'm surprised that this is not being talked about, is that no measures like that were being considered whatsoever with regards to Amber Heard because of this whole kerfuffle. I'm surprised no one's talking about that Warner Brothers didn't consider taking the necessary steps to basically make things even, because right away it seemed like Johnny Depp was removed from Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
And nothing like that was ever considered for Aquaman. And that just... it seems unfair. It seems sexist.
I mean, I guess it's just the world we live in now, which is sad.
Other than the creative concerns and concerns about chemistry you testified about, was there any other reason Warner Brothers delayed in picking up Miss Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
No, it was all concerns about whether she was the right bit of casting for the movie.
Wow.
What role, if any, did Miss Heard's dispute with Johnny Depp have in Warner Brothers' delay picking up Miss Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
There was none from our end.
Would Warner Brothers have paid Miss Heard more money on Aquaman 2 if it had picked up her option earlier?
No.
At any time from the beginning of history through today, did Warner Brothers ever release Miss Heard from the Aquaman 2 contract?
No.
I have a personal account, I suppose. I don't know how relevant it is, but I talked to James Wan, and he opened up to me for maybe he had a little bit of liquor, I don't know, but he opened up to me about, because I met him on the set of Aquaman. I was invited to just do the YouTuber thing, which was pretty cool. and I thank you, Warner Brothers. And so I got to talk to James Wan. I'm like, how are you feeling? Because the movie's coming out later this year. He goes,
oh, this was at the...
I don't want to say the event.
Okay.
Yeah, but so I met James Wan and talked to him after meeting him on the set of Aquaman. And I go, so are you excited? Like, how are you feeling? Because it's coming out later this year. He goes, I'm cautiously optimistic. We'll see how it goes. And that's very, very rare that you get to hear a director feel reservations about his huge $1 billion movie coming out, like feeling reservations about it.
Yeah.
And not feeling certain, like that he conveyed that to me, this stranger, rando dude. He doesn't know me from Adam, and he's conveying like concerns that this is going to be, could potentially be a disaster. Who knows? We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
He was just wildly uncertain, and probably part of it was what they're talking about here, which is the chemistry and whatnot.
Maybe.
I mean, he didn't tell me the exact reasons.
Yeah.
It was more...
We're speculating.
Yeah, I'm speculating. Yeah. Super nice guy. One of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life, James Wan. I'm just sad I didn't meet Amber Heard to be able to recount my own experiences of talking to her. Because I met Jason Momoa. He was super nice.
Yeah, he was.
And James Wan was super cool. And everyone in Aquaman was very, very nice. She was one of the only people I didn't actually get to interact with. I didn't interact with her on set or at the premiere. Super relevant to this conversation. Mm-hmm. Anyway, moving on. Johnny Depp trial shocker. Former TMZ producer implies Amber Heard leaked Depp video.
In 2016, what did you do for a living?
I worked as the field assignment manager at TMZ.
And what were your responsibilities as a field assignment manager for TMZ?
I was the go-between the news desk in the office and the reporters in the field, which you might know as paparazzi.
And what were your responsibilities specifically as to the paparazzi?
It would be to dispatch paparazzi to various locations based on tips or just direction dictated by having a list of sort of hotspots where celebrities would be.
And how were those tips received?
They were received either through tips that we received through our tip line or directly through news producers in the office.
And were tips frequently received directly from sources?
Very often the case, yeah.
And who were the type of sources that TMZ received tips from?
They would receive tips from, oftentimes it would be publicists, managers, agents, or B-list celebrities.
B-list celebrities.
Lawyers?
And lawyers, definitely.
How are tips verified?
Tips are verified by an extensive process. If they come in through our tip line, we have to verify who sent it, that the source is truthful, and so they have to add their contact information, which is a field in that on that website for like name, phone number, things like that.
And how long did that process typically take?
If we receive a tip through the tip line, it could take a while because that would need to be, if it was a tip, we would need to verify it. If it was media, such as photos or videos, that would need to be extensively verified to ensure that the person sending it is the copyright holder and that we would have the legal ability to air it and distribute it.
And while working for TMZ, were you involved in any assignments related to Ms. Heard?
I was.
Oh boy.
What was the first time you recall working on an assignment related to Ms. Heard?
I believe it was May 27th, 2016.
And what was your role in that assignment?
For that, Ms. Heard was filing a restraining order at a courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. So I dispatched camera people to that location.
Oh.
Under what circumstances would you normally send paparazzi to a courthouse?
Only if we had been informed prior. It's not by any means a celebrity hotspot. We would only ever send people there if we had been tipped off that something was occurring and there was somebody present there.
And what footage was TMZ trying to capture at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
We were trying to capture Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face.
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay and foundation.
What were they supposed to do?
Right. She's asking for, I don't think there's a foundation.
I'll overrule the objection at this point. We'll see.
I'm not a lawyer, but I was even confused by the objection. I'm like, I don't understand what you're doing.
What's going on?
I'm very confused by this objection.
Stop talking.
Go ahead, Mr. Tremaine.
Can you state the question again?
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the Los Angeles courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Their objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face, the alleged bruise.
Oh.
Wow.
Did your team of videographers get the shot of Amber Heard?
We did.
Yeah, you did.
What is the difference between receiving a tip from a news producer and any other source?
If it's any other source, it would have to be verified by copyright. If it was anything that was received directly through a news producer, then they go through that process to verify the source.
Did you do anything to verify the tip on May 27th, 2016 related to Amber Heard?
I did not.
Why not?
Because it had come directly from a news producer.
Does that mean it had been verified?
It means that they had verified that tip and deemed that it was credible, and therefore a camera person needed to be dispatched.
After May 27th, 2016, were you involved in any other assignments related to Amber Heard?
Yes.
Can you tell me about those assignments?
The next one would have been August 6th, 2016, where she was giving a deposition.
Hold on. So the implication is quite strong here that she tipped them off herself, right?
If not Amber Heard, then someone from her team, because he's saying like
she was supposed to turn to camera, like that was already planned, that she was going to look at the camera and like reveal that.
Apparently, yes, that's what he said. So like, yeah, they were tipped off by either her or someone close to her in her team, that they felt confident enough that this was a strong enough tip that they could act on it. Because I imagine they get a lot of calls from like randos in Hollywood going like, I see this person doing this thing.
Certainly.
You know?
This completely goes against her statement.
Yeah.
Her testimony.
So what did you do in relation to that tip?
I dispatched camera people to a parking lot adjacent to a law office in which she would be arriving to, so we could get the footage of her arriving for the deposition.
Do you typically send paparazzis to parking lots of law offices?
No, not at all.
Did you get the shot of Miss Heard on August 6, 2016?
We did.
After August 6, 2016, were you involved in any other stories involving Miss Heard?
Yes, I was.
And what story was that?
On the 12th, we received a video depicting Johnny Depp slamming some cabinets that was captured by Miss Heard.
And what day was that?
I believe that was the August 12th.
Of 2016?
Of 2016, yes.
Can you describe to the jury how you received the video on August 12, 2016?
Yes, the video was sent in through our email tip line, which is an email distribution that goes to all the producers and to myself as the field assignment manager, because it often included celebrity locations. It came in as I recall,
Objection, hearsay.
He's just describing how it came in.
I think he's about to reveal hearsay, Your Honor.
I'll overrule for now. We'll see what.
It's not hearsay until he says
Please
it.
Continue.
So I received that email, and it included a link from some unknown Dropbox type public website in which it contained that
Objection,
video.
Your Honor, hearsay. He's about to describe what comes from the Dropbox website.
Look at his little
Surprised you
smirk.
said he's was a link from the Dropbox. We'll see the next question. Go ahead, next question.
So you received a link.
The judge is like, I'm damn curious. You shut up, lawyer. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I gotta know.
Let the man speak.
This is some good shit.
Important.
This is some good shit. Shut the fuck up. You keep interrupting the story. Sit your ass down. I'm sorry to make jokes. I'm sorry. It just.
Well, even he, I feel like he's very well prepared.
Yeah.
You know, he came on here, Camille's asking him like, when did this happen? August 12th. Like, dang. Okay,
Yeah.
someone did their homework.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if maybe he's done this sort of thing before, or he
Well,
just.
TMZ people also go on camera, so I mean.
Yeah. And so, you know, he knows what he's talking about. Maybe he knows a thing or two, and he tried extra hard not to do hearsay.
So you received a link. What was in that link?
In that link was the video of Johnny Depp smashing the cabinets.
And you received this video in your inbox, correct?
I did.
What did you do once you received that video?
We downloaded it. We alerted the web editor who was sitting next to me at the time. We downloaded it, and then were instructed by the news producer to do what we call slap bumpers and a bug on it, which is putting the dun 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 at the beginning end, and then putting a translucent watermark over it, which indicates copyright ownership.
Wow.
After you did that, was it posted?
It was posted, yes.
Where was it posted?
It was posted to tmz.com.
Did you do anything else related to Amber Heard on August 12, 2016?
Yes, I received a tip that Amber Heard would be arriving at LAX, and so I dispatched camera people to film that exit.
He didn't say what that, I mean, he doesn't know where that video came from. I mean, it's entirely possible that Amber Heard shared that with someone in her circle, and then that went to TMZ from someone in her circle.
Yeah, because I thought he was talking about how they had to verify copyright on that. He didn't talk about that in this instance. Like, how do you verify if the person who sent that picture or that video is actually the owner of that copyright, you know?
Yeah.
Or her arrival to LAX, rather.
And why did you do that?
I was instructed to.
How long does it take to post a story after media's been received by TMZ?
After media's been received, it could take any length of time depending on who owns the copyright.
How does TMZ obtain copyright over images and videos?
The only way to obtain copyright over media would be if we shot it ourselves, if it was sent to the tip line, source verified that it was from the original copyright owner, and then either purchased from that person or given to us. And then the third option would be if it was directly given to us by the copyright holder, like a direct source.
And how long does it take to copyright something TMZ has received through the tip line?
It can take a while because you have to extensively verify that that person owns the copyright. And then possibly, it depends also if you can even get in contact with the person because they might not be super responsive immediately via phone or email that they provided. And then potentially you'd have to enter a negotiation with our clips and clearances department to figure out the cost of that media.
How long does it take for TMZ to obtain a copyright over something received directly from a source?
Something in the realm of 15 minutes just to do what I described before, which is putting bumpers and a bug on something and write the article and post it. It's pretty fast.
How much time had passed from the time you received the kitchen cabinet video to the time it was posted on TMZ?
About 15 minutes.
Wow.
Jesus.
Did any other tabloids other than TMZ post this video?
Objection leading and cause for hearsay.
Did any other tabloids?
Overruled.
Yeah.
Mr. Tremaine, go ahead.
No, they did not.
And why not?
Because it was a TMZ exclusive.
And what does that mean?
It means the TMZ owns the copyright to it. So it can't be distributed by any other media source without backlinking to TMZ, and they wouldn't be able to upload that media without getting a copyright strike.
Have you seen the kitchen cabinet video that was played in this trial?
I have, yes.
How does that video that was played in this trial compare to the one you received on August 12, 2016?
When I had clicked the direct link that we received and watched the video in its entirety, it was much shorter than the video we had received, than the video that's been played in this trial. There was a bit at the beginning that was played here in which Ms. Heard is seemingly sort of sitting at the camera and getting into position. And then there's a bit at the end where she's seemingly snickering and looks at the camera. That part was not present in what we received.
Did TMZ edit the video?
No, not even a little.
Wow.
When we receive something and it's edited, there's a clear indicator because there's sort of a journalistic practice they use is when there's an edit, you do what's called like a white flash transition, which covers the entire screen with white to very clearly indicate to everybody there was an edit here for time or whatever, just to make it a little more compelling. But in this case, it was not edited as I was staring at the machine that edited it and present for the entirety of receipt to publishing.
When was the next time you worked on an assignment related to Amber Heard?
It was, well, there was the time where we went to the airport. And then the day after that, because she had flown in for the deposition, because I think the first time didn't work out. So she was arriving again for the deposition in that same parking lot adjacent to a law office.
And what's that, August 13th, 2016?
That was August 13th, yeah.
And what was your assignment on August 13th, 2016?
To dispatch camera people to that parking lot at a specific time in order to film Amber Heard arriving for the deposition.
While you worked at TMZ, did you ever receive any communications from Mr. Depp or his camp?
I did not.
I guess he doesn't work for TMZ now, but why would he come forward now after having been involved in creating that narrative? Does he feel guilty?
He might have been subpoenaed.
Fair enough.
Even if she asked that question, the Amber Heard's team might have stepped in and said, objection, something, something. What is evident from all the clips we've watched so far is that there is a lot of misdirection being employed here. At least that's what it seems.
Yeah.
There's a lot of misdirection. There's a lot of fake evidence. There's definitely a possibility of perjury.
Strong possibility, I would argue.
As I've said before, and as behavioral arts has said a few times, it's not looking good for Amber Heard.
Nope.
It's really not looking good for her. The TMZ thing is one of the biggest ones, because she said straight up, I did not inform TMZ. And then she's like, oh, I informed TMZ, and did the thing where, the giveaway, the tell that she kind of messed up. And then coupled with this, it's like, yo, it looks like you informed TMZ. It looks like you gave that information to TMZ each and every single time.
Right, because according to him, it seems like they have very stringent practices on how they verify sources. And if they were able to just put a bumper and watermarks or whatever on that right away, then it means that like either someone was paid or someone was like, take it, it's yours.
He wasn't straight up asked, did Amber Heard send these to you? And I guess that maybe he doesn't know, or maybe he's not allowed to say. Maybe there's like some kind of contractual obligation to not say.
Right.
You got to keep that anonymous. That was a really good witness.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good witness. That coupled with Kate Moss, did he ever push you down any stairs? Ever?
In the history of time, ever.
All right, guys, what do you think? I mean, it seems pretty convincing. Me being the skeptic that I am, being as objective as I am, it's hard to say anything counter here.
It's not looking good.
Yeah. What do you guys think?